Hi, Professor McCullough here, and today we're going to talk about forecast sheets. Forecast sheets are a good way of modeling data over time, and specifically for estimating future values based on historical data. So, for example, we have this chart here. The blue lines represent historical data showing monthly revenue over time. I believe we have 2 full years worth of data, and on the y-axis we have the monthly revenue, and then we have the dates down here, and these are all 1 month apart. And what's cool about this chart, what's cool about Excel, is it allows us to very easily make a forecast of what the following year would look like. And it makes a forecast, and then it puts a band of confidence. In this case, it's 95% confidence of what we would be likely to see for each month in the years ahead. And it's beyond the scope of this class to worry about how they derive that 95%, but it is in the scope of the class to know how to make this chart. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. What's particularly useful about the forecast sheet is it can allow us to capture seasonal trends, right? There's a lot of products for which you're going to sell a lot in a particular season and not so many in other parts of the year. Like if you are selling Christmas trees, presumably you would sell many of those in October, November, December, and not so many the rest of the year. If you are selling swimming pool products, you would sell those in the summer, etc. So for a lot of products, there's going to be a seasonal trend to the whole thing. And you see that in this data, right? We don't know what this product is necessarily, but we do know that it definitely has some peaks and troughs in the monthly revenues. If we look at this peak over here, it seems to correspond with May or June. All right, so okay, that's the peak in 1 year, and then we go over and we check May or June. That's 5 or 6, the month 5 or 6, and we go up here, and this peak is in that same time frame. So there seems to be something that causes the sales to spike in May or June. We see another peak, slightly smaller peak in around October here, and then if we go over to month 10 over here, we have another peak. Okay, so how about troughs? Troughs are the low points. We have a seriously dramatic trough here, which is associated with through February or March, and so then we go over to February, March for 2017, and we see that that is also a very low point. So there's a seasonal trend to this, and when we make our forecast, so this green section is not real data, it's projected data, we see that those seasonal trends, that 12-month cycle, is modeled in our forecast. And that's what's unique about the forecast sheet that we can't do with some of the other tools that we've looked at for forecasting. So how do we put together a chart like this? Let's take a look. Let's start by going to our data. We go to current sales, where this data comes from. We highlight over our categories. We have the dates in column A and the monthly revenue in column B. Then we go up to data, and there it is, forecast sheet right here on the right hand side. We click forecast sheet, and there it is. It shows our dates, and on the y-axis we have our revenue. So just like that, we have a forecast sheet, and the default again is the 95% confidence interval. This is a wide interval, right? The lower confidence bound takes us down to like 20,000, and the upper confidence bound takes us to like 320, 330 thousand. Okay, so not a particularly helpful forecast. What we need to do if we want to capture that seasonality is to click on options. I think it already got open, but you click here on options. It will give you a forecast start that picks up at the point which your data concludes. So at the end of 2017 right here. And it's going to forecast out for it looks like 7 months. We want more than that. We want to go for a full year. So let's push it out to the end of 2018. So that'd be December 31, 2018. Okay, now we have an extended range. Obviously, that doesn't help with the precision of our forecast. That will come in a second. Let's move this up. Here we go. Now you can see what's happening. There's that confidence interval. If we want to increase it or decrease it, we can do that. But let's focus on the seasonality. Okay, it's detecting automatically. That's not doing anything useful for us. But let's tell it that there's a 12-month seasonality to it. So we are indicating every 12 data points, which would be every 12 months, that there's a pattern there. And we will click create. And that is what gives us this much more precise forecast for what's going to happen in the year ahead. All right, so those are the basics for making a forecast sheet and adding a seasonal trend to it.